Here I'm just about to step out the door to leave for work on February 25th, 2026, and you will see as soon as I step outside, there's an individual positioned standing at the opposite side of the street, staring up and then staring back and forth at a phone. This is the tenant who lives upstairs, so they have him waiting there to cross the street and go up to enter the house just as I have exited to do his same time exit entry act. And they've used this guy a number of times. It's not consistent and all the time with this guy because they know that I record. So, but tonight they've sent him to do his little act where he's standing outside the house, staring up and down at a phone, and then crosses over and walks up the stairs to go to his unit just as I've stepped out. Now, I was trying to be subtle about it, so I didn't keep looking over at him, but I just wanted to capture the footage, and you can see he comes onto the property and goes to up the stairs that are just right next to me there. So he's just standing there waiting to cross the street and comes across and goes in right as I exit, and this is because there's surveillance in the home, and these exact same time exit entry routines have been going on for the past 5 years everywhere I've lived. Now they try to switch it up here so it's not exactly the same person every night, and they're not going to use the same person every night if they know you record, but they're still going to do these little acting routines. So you'll see he's positioned across the street, and then he comes across and goes up, and the act was all set up so that as soon as I step outside, I'd see him there. Notice this bullshit here right away as soon as I step outside here. Fucking act. Yeah. Heard my language. So he's gonna walk in here or something like that. As soon as I step out, I'm supposed to see this fucking clown here across the street with a phone held up in front of his goofy face, and he's gonna come in here. Here, he's gonna come in here as I walk the door. He's going to anyway. There's his that's all the act that they put on there. So, so that's time, okay? So they have him standing out there and trying to cross the border. There's his guy. It's the guy who looks up there apparently. Yeah, okay. Just happens to be standing in front of the house the second you step outside. If you saw my most recent video from February 22nd, 2026, you might recall this criminal stalker that was sent on public transit to follow me and to attempt to provoke some type of argument or altercation. When I noticed the stalker continually glaring at me hatefully for no reason over and over again and making these fake contrived coughing noises, which are part of a sensitization used in the neurolinguistic programming aspects of the CSIS harassment campaign, I went and sat behind him, as was shown in the video, and at that point he got a little uncomfortable and then went to the back, and then I decided, knowing that he had probably been sent to follow me, as he continued to make those fake wheezing noises that I've shown countless other people making right as I arrive as part of the sensitization, I opted to get off just to see what they were going to do, if they're going to have him continue to follow. When I did get off, he obviously had to consult the phone where he was getting his instructions, because that's where he's told what to do. And so, of course, he then, after I got off, he starts glaring at me hatefully from the window after I'd gotten off to get away from him, and he opens up the window and says, "What's your problem?" to try and put on the act that somehow I was causing a problem when he had been sent to stalk me and was making these same wheezing noises that they tell all these people who they have sent to stalk me for 5 years to do. So he had to put on the act. These people have been trained in inversion, lying, gaslighting, and trying to present themselves as victims as they break Canadian laws, criminally stalk people, and attempt to provoke altercations. So again, the video shows I went out of my way to avoid this guy, and I didn't want any type of interaction with him. And so he was then prompted by whoever tells him what to do on his phone to open up the window and try and engage in some argument. I did not respond to him when he started shouting, "What are you looking at?" I simply pointed to the body camera, which I had, so he knew he was aware I was recording him. So of course, he then tried to use that situation to paint himself as a victim, when he had purposefully been sent to follow me. And when I get off to avoid him, he continues to try to cause an altercation. So then, of course, I put the image of him online, and I predicted in that video that, sure enough, CSIS would start sending him to follow me again and again. Now, it's important to note, I'm going to reiterate here, prior to that video, I had never seen that guy before. This is not a route that he was regularly taking, because that's the route that I regularly take to work 5 nights a week. So he had never been on any of these buses before. That was the first time I had ever seen him. And of course, he was just sent to try to provoke an altercation, to try to cause an argument, to create a scene so that it could then be presented as me causing problems with people in public, and then they could gaslight and try and create more lies to say that I'm unstable or whatever. That's why I record everything. So when I documented this and put it online, obviously people can see what this guy was doing, and I said, for sure, I said strong probability they're going to send this guy back again. And again, I put him right in a picture next to CSIS Director Dan Rogers, who is one of the people who's at the top of orchestrating these activities to criminally harass and stalk people who speak the truth. Obviously, they don't like my videos that I've put out exposing this criminal system of lies, deceit, corruption, and drug trafficking involving Canadian Freemason police officers, and their system where they have all of these paid agents who partake in lying and bearing false witness on behalf of the police, etc. So here you'll see again, I didn't notice him when I got on tonight because I wasn't really paying attention to who was on there. I just got on the bus, sat up near the front, and then when it came to the time to get off at the stop that I often get off to go into the transit terminal, I just looked over, and sure enough, he's sitting there. So I was going to see, okay, is he going to get off here? He had probably been told to get off wherever I get off initially, because they knew that if I don't get off at the transit terminal, I'll usually only stay on one more stop to go to the store that's just at the next stop. So when he saw I didn't get off at the transit terminal, he remained there glaring at me hatefully from that same near the same location where he's sitting the other time, continually focused on me the whole time. And then he gets off. He rings the bell to get off at the stop where they knew would be the second stop that I would get off if I didn't get off the original one. You can clearly see it's the same guy, as I predicted, sent to stalk again. And it's important to note, I'd never seen him before. It's not a route that he usually takes, so it's just a case of him being sent. And again to my location. And as he gets off, he continues to glare at me, and then he holds up his phone directly towards me and either takes a picture or takes video footage of me. And again, they're hoping that I'd say something that would be able to, so that he could provoke some type of altercation. And as you'll see, I didn't say anything. These stalkers who they send take pictures of me all the time, so I could care less if he takes a picture. I've got pictures of them as well. Except the difference between me and them is I tell the truth about what they're doing. They take pictures of people, slander them, lie about them, because they have to use lies and slanders to justify their criminal harassment campaigns. So I believe there's a strong probability that this is one of the people who's involved in police protected drug running, possibly associated with the Ottawa Police. They have a system where they give a lot of violent inmates, people who are involved in drug dealing and gangs, early release if they agree to partake in what the police would refer to as the community policing system. And of course that involves doing these assignments, and so working with the police, essentially becoming police informants. And so you'll notice after he gets off, I stayed on one more stop because obviously I didn't want to get off where he was getting off, even though that's where I had intended to go, to that store there. They knew where I was going to go. That also proves that they knew that my location where I would be going, because if I didn't get off the one stop, they were sure I would probably get off at the next one with the late night variety store there. So when I saw him get off, I waited again for another stop just down the street. Then shortly after I get off there, you're going to see the Ottawapolice show up a number of times. And one of the cops drives up alongside me and attempts to create some conversation so he can create some ridiculous fake narrative just to lie and say, because he said, "Oh, I noticed you were looking at me and wanted to know if you needed some help." Now, I looked at him when he pulled up, as you'll see in the video, because he synchronized right at the intersection when I got there, and because they've been sending the police to do these things for 5 years everywhere I've lived, in a manner that's not coincidental, and there's no plausible deniability for it. So he then tries to create an exchange again to try and do his his gaslighting, to try to create some false narrative to lie about me, to try to get me to say something out of anger or something like that. And you'll see the exchange here, but again, as I predicted, you're seeing it here again. The prediction proved accurate. CSIS would send the same drug dealer, or whether he's an inmate or whatever, the same stalker to follow me. They may have told him I put his picture online. So again, whenever these CSIS stalkers get exposed with their pictures being put online, drug trafficking Freemason Dan Rogers, who facilitates drug trafficking all throughout Canada, is heavily involved in that, and he uses these inmates who he gives early parole to take part in these things. He sends them back trying to provoke further, and it never works. I just record them more and show that what they're doing is criminal stalking. So you'll see here, now this is 2 times this guy's been sent, and as you can see in the video, he looks directly at me, holds the phone up and films me, so there's no question that he's being sent there to follow me, and that's twice he's shown up, so we can make a clear case for criminal stalking and harassment. And that's what Dan Rogers is sending people to do. He's not protecting anyone from domestic terrorism. He's simply sending people to criminally harass and stalk people. And these are the same people who he uses in his drug trafficking routine, which the police also take active part in, because, again, they do whatever CSIS tells them to. So that's the type of clout our intelligence agencies have. Anyway, without further ado, here's the same creepy drug-running stalker being sent again. Now, it must be noted that at first when I got on the bus, I didn't notice him, so he didn't get on. He had already been on there, but I guess I wasn't really looking around too much. I wasn't paying attention to who was there. And so I noticed him as people started to get off near Lyon Station, which is a stop where I usually get off. So you'll see from there, where I'm on the bus here, this is where the bus is just about to pull up, close to where I would ordinarily get off. And that's when I noticed him. And you'll see his attention is turned toward me the whole time. And then he holds up a phone and either films me or takes a picture. So that you will see here. And just one more point regarding this CSIS stalker here. You may recall when he opened the window in the previous video and started putting on his act to try and make it seem like he was some type of victim by saying, "What's your problem?" and putting on a scene and doing his little theatrical performance. You'll notice that he spoke English when he directed that towards me. When he spoke to me, he was speaking English. Now, another way we can tell he was there specifically for me was that anyone who's in that area there in Hull, Quebec, and if they don't know someone, they all speak French primarily, so they're going to start the conversation in French. If you're talking to somebody who you don't know, you're going to assume that they speak French as their first language there, and you would start by speaking French. So this proves even further that this perpetrator was told who I am, was told to follow me, and he knew that I primarily speak English, because he started the conversation in English. No one who's from around there in Hull would start a conversation in English unless they were told to do that, or unless they knew who you were, and you only spoke English. So if it was actually somebody who didn't know who I was and hadn't been told about me, he would have, and he was from there, he was sent from Hull, they would start in French. They would start the conversation in French. You'll be able to tell he's only speaking in English, so he's just being sent to stalk me, and he knows, he's been told that I communicate in English, right? That I only speak a tiny little bit of French, not enough to communicate in any cohesive manner. So So he was told that, and you'll notice that he starts the conversation in English. No one who's from there does that, and it's further proof that he was just being sent all the way out there to stalk me as I attempt to go to work.
Same guy, last time. I predicted he'd be bagged, like I said. Same guy as last time. And you know what? When I look at that guy, I think he's the same guy who they had in the grocery store too, actually. You saw there he looks directly at me and takes a picture or recorded or something. I didn't notice him at first when I first got on, but like remember I predicted they're going to send him back, and I think it's the same guy. Well, not only is it the same guy as last time, I think he was also the same guy who was in the grocery store directing that operation. So you see he looked directly at me. And they knew where I was going to get off because I decided to stay on one stop past where I normally would. So when I did that, he rang the bell. He was waiting to see if I was going to get off at Lyon Station. I had decided already to stay on one more stop because I was going to go into that store to get an energy drink. So, knowing my routine, that the only stops I would get off would either be there by Lyon Station or the next stop at the store, he rung the bell right away. He's looking directly at me, and then he takes out a phone and starts either filming me or taking a picture. It is, I believe it's definitely that same guy they sent last time who was trying to cover his face by holding the phone over his face. And it's The same stalker who was directing the mobbing in the grocery store that day. If you recall that video, the guy who was leaning hunched over the cart, definitely a CSIS person. It's the same guy. So I thought it kind of looked like him the other time. Now I can identify, having seen his face clearly, that's definitely him. So he was walking down this way. I don't care if I see him. I'm just gonna stay on this side of the street. But he got off and started walking down this way. There's a paramedic up there. I predicted. I told you right away. Now, it's important to note that I've never, prior to that incident, there's the police there too, and then a paramedic up there, up ahead. But prior to that other time, when they sent him to the store, I'd never seen him before, and then they had him on the bus, knowing that I got his picture. So he's aware that I got his picture and put his picture online there, and he's taking a picture of me. I don't care. They have people doing that all the time. What's that going to do, right? They take pictures of me and slander me, and you know, they give pictures of me to all these people who they're using to do this. So what the heck's that going to do? Like, I care, right? But yeah, that's definitely the same guy who was in the store, and you can see he's following me to different locations, stalking and taking pictures of me, obviously with his phone there. I didn't take a picture of him with any type of phone. I just had my glasses on here, so it would be more discreet. That's what I typically do. And the other time I caught him with a body camera. Now they know also that I put that guy's picture online, like I said, and they know that I put the director of CSIS, his picture in the online as well. So this is also why they're sending this guy back who was mobbing in the grocery store. And it's the same guy for sure. I'll show you a comparison of his picture, and you'll see it's him. So I'm just going to cross here, and then as I get here, 7424, 7424, as soon as I get to the intersection here. And so let's see if we can see. Yeah, 7424. Keep the face tight too. Keep the face tight. He's positioned right here as soon as I get here, as you can see, and then there's another police car up ahead. Does the wave too, that's what they're told to do when they know they're being recorded. And I'm not holding up a phone, right, but he knows I record with the glasses, so they're told to do the wave thing. So it was a pretty quiet week up until that, but that's definitely the same guy, so his picture's going to go online again. And when he held up the phone and took a picture, it's like I care, man. They have pictures of me that they give all these people. So what's that supposed to do? People take my picture all the time who they send to do these things. You think I'm going to react to that or give a rat's ass about you taking a picture of me? I'll put your picture up too. So there you go, right in the thumbnail. But that's, again, like I put the picture of the director of CSIS, Dan Rogers, next to that thug who they had sent last time to attempt to provoke. And then they sent him back, and sure enough, it is that guy. It is that same guy who was in the grocery store. And he's following me to different locations. So that's criminal harassment and stalking, and he'll be online again. So I didn't see him when I first got on because I wasn't paying attention to who was really at the back. Here's the third police car. Third police car since I just got off the stop there. What's the number here? 7424. Yeah, I'm allowed to stare at people. There's no law against staring at people.
I thought you wanted to get my attention or something, or you needed something.
No, if I wanted your attention, I would have spoken to you.
Cool. Why are you so hostile?
I'm not hostile at all. Why has your organization been showing up everywhere I go for 3.5 years to harass me? For CSIS. Can you allow me to finish a sentence? You talk over people, so there's no point having a conversation. Okay, you heard what I said. So respond.
Okay, so now you're gonna speak? Okay.
Now I'm gonna let you speak. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm not playing the gaslighting game, buddy. I'm not playing the gaslighting game. You pulled up oh, go ahead. You first. Yeah, you synchronized right when I got there, which is the same thing that's been going on for 5 years everywhere I go. 3 years here, counting Toronto, 5 years. with your organization. You know exactly who I am. That's why you're synchronized there. That's why there's 3 other cars there as well. That's why, can I finish? That's why I've been harassed and criminally stalked by CSIS for 5 years using police. So that's why, okay? And I also, yeah, you do work with CSIS yes, sir, the information's all out there. So I'm not going to argue with you. The information's all out there. CSIS uses police, the fire department, and paramedics. They've admitted it, to deal with people who are on domestic terrorist watch lists. Yes, they do. That's all. They've admitted that themselves. CSIS has more power than the police do. Yes, I am, apparently. For speaking the truth. For speaking the truth. I have a YouTube channel where I expose police corruption and speak the truth. So that's why you were there, okay? You don't have to come back and bother me now either. You thought I was kind of what?
Trying to get my attention. I thought you wanted to report to me, but if you don't want it,
If I wanted your attention, I would have spoken to you, okay?
surprise, man. A lot of people be trying to share. You never know.
Okay, let me... Yeah, I understand. But I was also attacked by one of your officers for violently attacked for nothing, okay? So, for speaking the truth. So, if you'll forgive me if I'm a little bit tense when I see you people coming around. That's why. Yeah, I have video footage of that. That's online too. You can look that up.
I hope you have a better night, okay?
Oh, well, I'm having a really good night now that you're gone, okay? So, yeah, you take care. Trying to gaslight. Just trying to get me to argue with him or something. I don't want to argue with him. I'm just... it's just ridiculous, man. Yeah, you've been synchronizing at intersections everywhere I go for like 5 years. You just sent the same guy that was directing a stalking and mobbing operation against me in a grocery store to literally swarm me, to follow me to a different location. And then I get off and you got a police car pulling up right at the intersection and he's pulling over to try and make it seem like I'm causing a problem so he could write a false report that I'm crazy or delusional, right? That's what they do. So, but they don't wear body cameras, these ones here in Ottawa, so he's not going to have any, other than the picture that CSIS stalker took. Dan Rogers' buddy who he sent to mob me in the grocery store. So 3 police cars there since I've gotten off up there. Just a few minutes walk. And apparently it's a crime to look at him. I just looked over. The reason I was looking over is to get his image, his picture with the camera glasses. So I just make my way back to the station now. But so we got evidence. That guy, he's going to go online again. He's participating in criminal stalking, the guy who they sent. And was that the same guy as last week? Yes, it was. I believe so. But I didn't think at the time. Well, I wasn't sure. Remember I said in that last video, I wasn't sure if that was the same guy who they'd sent from the grocery store who was directing the mobbing operation last week. But because he had his face covered partially, and he was covering his face with the phone, and I only saw when he was like shouting his facial expression there. But that is the same guy. You'll see, I'll show you a photo. I'll do a comparison. That was the same guy who was in the grocery store. And you can see here how he says we have no affiliation with CSIS. Complete and utter bold-faced lying. Because they've put all the information out there that they use police, firefighters, and paramedics. It's all out there. In their own documents. You can find these online. Okay? And so he's absolutely lying about that. And they're told to lie whenever they have any interaction with people who they're stalking in this way there. So he was just trying to get some situation where I get really angry, and because he knows that guy was just sent also to follow me. And so that's why I stayed on for one more stop. So when I first moved here, the place I used to work at, the first job I was working at is further down there at the end of the street there, and the police were harassing me continually there. And when I reported it, they abruptly called me to a meeting and terminated me while giving no reason why. When I was, there was no complaints about my work or anything like that. So then fortunately after that I got this job, and I've been at this job now for almost 3 years. But that was the first one when I moved. I had to take it just because I only had limited amount of money when I moved here. And the police there were showing up every night to set up theater skits in front of where I was working. So he's just trying to gauge some angry reaction, okay? And he does the usual thing. As soon as I start talking, he starts talking over you just to get you irritated. Like, you can't even complete a sentence without them trying to interject and talk over you, because they know what they're doing is just deceitful, right? So, but yeah, that's definitely the same guy who being sent to follow me, and then obviously, very blatant, very blatantly taking a picture of me too. Let me just do it across here. Normally they don't have the Ottawa Police stop and try to interact like that. But tonight he's trying to gauge some angry reaction, because they figured, I guess, I'd be able to pick off that guy being sent. I don't care. I've seen it all before. I know what they're trying to do. So, but this is a Wednesday. There wasn't much on Monday or Tuesday this week. Check this guy out near the store where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into the store here just to get a drink, so you can see. Stopping and staring at the phone. Is that the same guy? No, it's not him. Yeah, he's like, he thought I wanted to talk to him. Wouldn't I have, like, stopped and talked to him if I wanted to talk to him? I just looked at him initially when he pulled up to synchronize as soon as I got there to get an image of his face on the camera. That's why I was looking. Wanted to make sure the glasses captured an image of him. See, the police looks like the police are still down there on the right. But, and this is any exchange you have with them, especially if it's just one of them. If there's a whole bunch of them, they can intimidate you a lot more. When it's just one of them and you're in a one-on-one conversation, most of the time they know the people who they're doing this to are a lot smarter than them. So they'll just, like, talk over you, and they're just trained in these diversion tactics, right? So, and he's trying to say that CSIS aren't involved in that, they don't have affiliation with CSIS. It's ridiculous. CSIS openly says they use local police, and CSIS has far, far more power than the police do. So the police have to just do what they're told. He knows that. He's just lying about it again.
And exactly as I predicted in the previous video, Freemason Daniel Rogers, the director of CSIS, continues to send his controlled drug addicts, drug dealers, and inmates who he's giving early releases to for criminally harassing and stalking people, continues to send them to follow me and attempt to intimidate me as I attempt to travel to my job. I predicted that they'd send this goon back after I captured footage of him the previous time. Obviously he's unemployed, quite possibly a drug dealer, so they use these people to try and intimidate, and hoping that they can try to start fights or just to intimidate you in general. And again, I didn't have any interaction with this stalker tonight, and as you can see, he purposefully held up his phone and took a picture of me while continually glaring hatefully at me, hoping to provoke a reaction. So that's what criminals like Dan Rogers and the RCMP Commissioner Michael Doomy, or whatever his last name is, Dahume, and drug trafficking Freemason Eric Stubbs, the police chief, Ottawa police chief. These are the people who they use, the dregs of society. People who they know would be willing to, get violent and just to intimidate people also, and people who like getting into altercations. So they always have to harass honest, law-abiding people by using the dregs of humanity to do that. And so more evidence of that tonight. And as was promised, we're going to put the faces of these criminal Freemasons who send these useful idiots to do these things right next to the creeps who they send. So there we are again tonight, and you can see their faces there, and this fiend that they sent, and he'll probably be sent semi-regularly now too. So had I noticed him earlier, I would have just gotten off if I'd noticed that he was on there tonight. But again, they'll try to send him, and I'll just get off and try to avoid him. But you can see again, his attention was completely focused on me tonight. And it's these criminals, these drug trafficking Freemasons who insulate their organized crime syndicates through Freemasonry, and who have huge amounts of people on the payroll who are paid liars and paid informants who help them cover these things up and run their drug trafficking operation. So this is just another one of these creeps who they're using here. And again, strong probability they gave him an early release from prison for agreeing to take part in criminal stalking and harassment operations. Also, just to reiterate, with drug trafficking Freemasons, Dan Rogers, Michael Duhumi, or whatever the name is, the last name, and Eric Stubbs, That's further proof that they're purposefully breaking Canadian laws and encouraging people to openly break Canadian laws, because we have laws against criminal stalking and harassment. But since these people are working to purposefully push us towards a lawless society, which benefits their Freemasonic order out of chaos agenda, they don't care about the laws. These intelligence agencies just thumb their nose at rule of law and do whatever they want. So they abuse, harass, stalk people, send criminals to commit crimes, facilitate the drug trade, and then they use their controlled media to completely cover it up. So the Crown gives them this system where they're intermediaries between the Crown and the media, the controlled media, and of course the intelligence services heavily influence everything you see on these controlled social media platforms. So they operate with impunity above the law as they criminally harass, terrorize, and stalk people who speak the truth, while enabling organized crime and facilitating the drug trade.